Sports Bet Betting and Insight today. Pauly and Drew Martin. Thursday, June 22nd. We finish out this week. Here's what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to do NFL divisional previews again to close it out, just like last Friday. Today's show, we'll do one baseball game with the Dodgers and the Mets. It'll be a hardcore NBA draft, and we'll do props, try to make you some money here. And normal schedule next week. Teddy back from vacation. Look at him again. Throw the picture up again. The bastard's on the beach with a mojito as we have 117-degree weather here all week in Las Vegas. And this guy's sipping cocktails and having a good old time on vacation. So this will be a lot of fun. We'll go hardcore here in one baseball game, and then that'll do it. But we're going to make you some money coming up on today's show. So I don't know if this ever happened before in any sport. Drew, you have the second straight season that the draft opens the same way in terms of the order: Philly, Lakers, Boston, and Phoenix. I don't know if that's ever going to happen again.
Yeah, really. And it's like the NBA, these teams tanking and they're not getting any good out of it. So it's you got to wonder how many years it's going to happen in a row.
Yeah, that's a good point, because if this backfires on the Sixers, I mean, forget about it. So in 2016, Simmons went number one. Lakers took Ingram, Jaylen Brown to Boston, and then Bender to Phoenix. This year, same situation. So with the pick, the trade rather. So we know Fultz will go number one. Lakers likely to take Ball. I think Tatum will go third to Boston, and then we'll see what they decide to do at number four. Phoenix. How about that? They offered that pick to the Knicks for Porzingis and Booker, and they said no. But Fultz to Philly, a done deal. Do we trust the process, Drew, if Simmons can't stay healthy or Embiid can't stay healthy? This was historic. They tanked for over 3 years. So if this doesn't work out, and they're talking about a big three, a big four, because they also have Saric, I don't know what they do with that organization.
Yeah, God, Pauly, you talk about volatility in the organization. I mean, I don't know where to rank this team as far as power rankings. And we talk about sports betting and change and having an advantage on the books. This is a tough number to put on this team. I don't know how they're going to have a season win total and what the number is, but I'm sure we're going to get action one way or the other.
I would say playoffs or bust this upcoming year for the Sixers. Here's what trusting the process brings so far. Embiid in 2014, number one. Hell of a player. I think he will stay healthy. That was more of sitting him at the end of the year to continue to tank and also watch his minutes. Okafor, third pick in 2015, total bust. Off the field, off the court issues as well. Simmons number one, and then Fultz number one. But look at this. Look at the last three drafts. You throw up this graphic. Look at all the guys who've never played a minute in the NBA. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys who haven't been able to get on the floor. Sarge is another good pick they had as well. So go along with Covington. They can build something in Philly. But you know what happens if for whatever reason the guys can't stay healthy or this blows up? That's a problem. So you trust the process with the Sixers. Are you trusting the process with the Lakers? The Lakers expected to take Ball later tonight at number 2. Is he going to play any defense? I mean, with that Russell, Clarkson, Young backcourt, historic, awful defense out of the Lakers the last few years, Drew.
Yeah, really. And I mean, if we take pretty much him at UCLA and that UCLA defense in college, I don't know if that's definitely not going to translate well to the NBA. And we have a graphic here. Let's throw it up. Worst 100 points per 100 defense since 2010. As you can see here, the Lakers, 110.6, not ranking exactly where you want to as far as worst defenses go since 2010. So not sure if that's going to translate well there, Pauly.
And it got worse. And this is why as we tape this, I hope they make a move and try to get Paul George. Remember, the Lakers have 3 first-round picks. You can throw in Randall and Clarkson as well to get Paul George. Why? Russell, who was gone in the Lopez trade. Russell, Clarkson, Young, among the worst defensive backcourts ever. Points per 100 allowed when on the floor. Russell, 113.4. Young, 112.1. And Clarkson, 112. Getting rid of Russell won't hurt at all, but we'll see if Ball can be a baller when it comes to defense. The Russell trade was huge because – now think about this. The Mozgov signing was so bad, 4 for 64 right after the free agency started. They had to put the number 2 overall pick in the draft with the contract that was so bad to get rid of him and for the Nets to take that deal. Lopez comes over. His deal expires at the end of the season, so rent, don't buy in Los Angeles. He'll be one and done with the Lakers. but he averaged 20 points per game and shot 35% from three. So we'll see if they go after George and they continue to make a move. There's actually hope for the Lakers in the future. I don't know what's going to happen with LeBron in a couple of years as well. Now, as far, Lakers number 2. Celtics at number 3. Josh Jackson refuses to work out for the Celtics. The other day he said it was too late. Too late? You got to be kidding me. So it looks like Tatum will go number 3 to the Celtics. Boston Globe Sports at B Globe Sports on Twitter with the 3rd pick in their mock draft. The Globe beat writers think they'll take Tatum out of Duke with the number 3 pick. Remember, Drew, Danny Ainge said one of the reasons they traded down, the guy we want at number 1 will still be there at number 3.
Yeah, this is turning into a show that is not going to turn out well as far as for the Celtics. And we got a stat here. Let's throw it up from Sports Insights. In the last 30 minutes, the juice on Josh Jackson under 3.5 has moved from -500 to -250. So these moves are happening in the betting world as well. It's not just talk there for the draft.
You ever see movement? How crazy is that, Drew? $5 down to $2.50. As we tape this, there's one spot now where over 3.5 is now a small favorite. We would go over 3.5. So not that long ago, you're talking under 3.5. You got to like $5. Now the over's a small favorite because he refuses to work out for Boston at number 3. This is bananas.
Yeah, the volatility here. I mean, I'm interested to see what the max bets are. Do you think they're taking time on these?
Well, I don't know. What do you think? You think that's a dime minimum, something like? I don't know how much they would take on draft props because I know here in Las Vegas they took a lot for the NFL draft. I don't know what faraway places would do with the concern that maybe someone has inside information.
Right. I would doubt it's over a dime. I'd actually be surprised if it was over a nickel at some of these shops. Okay.
So Jackson, big move there. Tatum, you're seeing 4.5 now and even 4s. One spot under 4 is -140. Again, I think the Celtics take him at number 3. De'Aaron Fox, 4.5, over 155. I think he'll go number 5. So I like that over. Isaac probably going 6 to Orlando. Definitely, you're going to have to lay a price here, but this is a winner. Over 5.5, -280 to the over. That's a winner. He will not go in the top 5. And it looks like 7 where Markkanen's going to wind up to the T-Wolves. 7.5 is over -150. So that surprises me, but that's seen some movement as well. And we'll get back to that in a second. But Markkanen, you see 7.5. Malik Monk, this is interesting too, because he could go in a free fall mode if he doesn't go number 8. He's sitting there at 8 -140 as well. And Dennis Smith is also 9 under -$2 in that one. Those are a couple of guys to put up. But Isaac's a winner if you go over 5.5. Monk could go between 8 and 13. It's hard to go under 8 or 9, probably 8 or 9 with Monk. Although if he doesn't go 8, you're probably going to win that ticket. If you cash that ticket, if you go over. For Dennis Smith, under 9 is -$2 as well. Most people have him going 9 in the mocks as well. How the mighty have fallen too. The Dwight Howard deal traded from the Hawks to the Hornets. No change for the Hornets odds. The Hawks 165 to 1 up to 175 to 1. 3 different teams now the last 3 years. Not a good situation with Dwight Howard. It ended poorly in Orlando. He complained about lack of touches. The same thing will probably happen with the Hornets. I'll give Teddy Covers credit for that, pointing out about how he's been a locker room cancer in that one. One thing on Porzingis. If you believe the reports, the Suns called the Knicks and offered Booker in the number 4, and the Knicks actually said no. Can you believe that? I think they're making a mistake. Now, first time we can bet on this in Las Vegas. Draft odds at the South Point. I think most of these are winners. I'll tell you what I'm playing and what I like. Duke players, first round, 3.5 under, -160. Got to pay a little juice there, but that's a winner. You're not going to see 4 guys go from Duke in the first round. You'll cash the ticket there. UCLA players, first round, over 2.5, yes, is -$5. That's gone out of control, some of these. Huge moves on a couple of these props. Total number of Kentucky players selected in the first round. It was 2.5. It's up to 3 now at the South Point. Offshore, you can lay $5 on the yes over 2.5. More players drafted, Oregon or UCLA. UCLA a pick, -230 And UCLA players over 2.5. I think it'll be 3 there with the $5. The Kentucky $5 as well. Oregon players selected in the draft 2.5 over -320. Yes, that's another winner too. You got to pay to play in that one, but lay the 320 with that one because 3 Oregon players will be drafted, likely all of them in the 3rd round. So, they finally had this in Las Vegas, Drew, with the NFL and now the NBA. So it's not a lot as I hold the sheet up. You're talking about 10 to 15 props, but we can bet on this. Let's make some money. I think that's about 4 or 5 winners I'm giving you there. And if I'm wrong, I will own it coming up on Monday. But I like how we are behind the times out here in Las Vegas. We have to adjust, and the offshores are kicking our ass in terms of creativity and what you can bet on. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, even you can bring in other things like politics.
Sure. Excellent.
Yeah. That's a tough one, but yeah, it seems like the offshore market is definitely a step or two ahead of a step or two might be saying it a little a little short there. The offshore market is definitely ahead of the Vegas market as far as going into new betting markets and what to bet on.
I'll throw 2 more at you. Number of Gonzaga players drafted. We know Zach Collins will go in the lottery. Williams Goss, you're seeing some movement on the over 1.5 there. A lot of people think he'll go late in the 2nd round, and the Kansas players selected overall. It was 1.5, big juice. That is up to 2 now. So I definitely think Mason will go in the 2nd round as well. All right, time for big game breakdown. Live odds, SBR odds, and Sportsbook Review. Check out the rating guide. Make sure you're betting with a trustworthy shop out there. This is coming up tonight. Mats in Ryu. Dodgers $1.95 at home. The total is 8. Good breakdown here because this was supposed to be Alex Wood, but Roberts has decided to shake things up. Ryu's been hit hard by the Rockies twice, so he's going with the flip-flop here. The huge series starts Friday at home. He's going to start with first place on the line, Wood Friday, Kershaw Saturday, and not a bad strategy, Drew, because Ryu, the Rockies have had his number, so put him against the Mets.
Yeah, I don't know why this doesn't happen more in baseball. And you give your young, good Alex Wood being the starter an extra day to prepare, extra day's rest. I like this a lot. And we got a stat here of 108 pitchers at 60 innings or more. We'll throw it up for you. ERA 1.90, FIP 2.14, and XFIP 2.56. As you can see there, he's either number 1 or number 2 in MLB. In the other 2 names there, Keuchel and Sales. So pretty good company there for Alex Wood. And it's a ridiculous combination of strikeouts and ground balls. 10.5 Ks per 9 and a 66.9% ground ball rate. So Alex Wood is definitely making it work. You give him an extra day's rest and you pair it up against the NL West opponent that you want to beat. The wins matter more in division. So I like it, Pauly.
Scary team. With the way they're hitting the ball, and Wood has better numbers than Kershaw, and they got to get Rich Hill going, watch out. Now, as Drew talked about, how many starters have topped both 10 strikeouts per 9 and 60% ground ball rate for a season since 2000? That would be 0. And that's what Wood's doing right now. For a comparison, how about this? Throw up that graphic. Wood, he's got a 1.90. Kershaw with a 2.61. You see the FIP? 2.14 to 3.53 in the XFIP, he's better there. And this is a money quote from Dave Roberts. He's as confident as any player I've ever been around. Think about that. So this guy's 7-0 with a 1.90. It's to the point now where if he gives up a couple runs, it's considered a bad start, Drew.
Yeah, he's been absolutely amazing pretty much since he came over to LA. You know, he came over from the Braves. And an interesting stat on Alex Wood, I don't think a lot of people, including the betting market, took into account early on. He's from Georgia and went to the University of Georgia, I believe. So, you know, he had all of his friends pretty much throughout his whole life here in Atlanta. And I think to get out of Atlanta, go out to LA, give him a clear mind, it actually makes sense, and it's definitely paid off on the field. And if you've been back in LA when Alex Wood's on the mound.
Still more bad news for the Mets. So they're still going against the lefty. And Ryu has not shown he can get back to his pre-injury form that cost him all of 2015. You look at this graphic. Pre-2015, 28-15 with a 3.28. Post-215, 3-7 with a 5.53. Not the same guy, Drew, but helps that he's got the best offense, the hottest offense in the National League.
Yeah, I mean, as far as team totals go, this kind of makes me want to bet over against him. But like you said, I mean, they've kind of struggled against lefties, and is Steven Matz really ready for the challenge of the Dodgers offense on the other side? We may he's got to get command of his breaking stuff. We know that he can get his fastball over, but anything else has been really tough for Steven Matz. The Mets organization really happy with his average velocity on his fastball. Looks like he's touching 93, way above 90.6 that he had last year. So the velocity's there. It's just the command on the breaking stuff. Can he get it over? And the Mets are actually not happy with a couple stats coming from Matz. His K percentage is down 10.7 now, and his swinging strike percentage, an all-important swinging strike percentage, only 4.0. So that's not really going to cut it. Tagged for 3 home runs against the Nats in his last start, going up against another good offense in the Dodgers. Not sure if I'd be recommending picking him up in your fantasy leagues. Just control has not been good enough. And a quote here from Matz, I think there's still stuff that I need to get better at. So short and sweet quote there, making me pump the brakes on backing Steven Matz.
Why did they only give him only a couple starts and so few innings in AAA? I think they made a mistake there.
Absolutely, and that's a thing that I think is a big mistake in a lot of teams are doing, is just rushing these guys that have a name and have played baseball at the major league level. They're rushing them up. They need to give them 4 and 5 inning starts in the minors multiple times. At the AA and AAA level, let them see a lot of hitters, get their control together, especially on the breaking stuff. So yeah, I agree with you. I'd look to fade that type of profile being rushed up to the show instead of getting their starts in the minors. And this is a prime example right here to fade Matz, Pauly.
Yep. With this great offense and cause for concern, the Nats lit him up with the long ball, and he only struck out 2 guys in that first start back against the Braves. That's a problem there. Money time, play of the day. We go back to everything we talked about earlier with the NBA draft on our NBA draft special and prop special show here. Let's give out a couple. Duke players, first round, 3.5 under -160. That's a winner. Oregon players selected in the draft, over 2.5. Got to lay 320. Over Kansas players, 1.5 selected in the draft. You could probably find 375, $4. We might have to lay even more, but it's a winner. They screwed that up. It was a bad number. It's up to 2 now in most spots in that one. And Kentucky players, first round, I'm not going to give out a $5. That's too high. But those are three picks there that we think are winners as well. And also the Gonzaga prop. I want to go back to the Gonzaga prop. Let's take over 1.5 Gonzaga players drafted. I think Goss will go late in the second round in that one. We'll come back and recap everything on Monday. Again, tomorrow's show, divisional preview in the NFL. We've already knocked out a couple divisions here. So Teddy will be back on Monday. We can check that out for the second Friday in a row with the divisional previews. Nice week, Drew. Thanks for being a part of the show. Well done. You have some fun, and good luck to you, Drew.
All right. Thank you, Pauly. And look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks for watching. Tell your friends. SportsBit, betting insight today on SBRpicks.com.